Most parents don't struggle with loving their children. They struggle with not controlling them, because the second you step back and let them choose, you also have to let them feel the consequences. Today isn't about being strict or being laid back. It's about consequential-based learning and why experience teaches better than lectures ever will. But this only works if you know your own triggers and your own values. Otherwise, it's not freedom. It's unconscious influence. So this is Francisca. This is my mid-crisis life. And today is Monday Mindset. So if you're trying to raise emotionally intelligent humans without repeating your own trauma, subscribe. Let's build something different.
Okay, so yesterday in Crisis Confessionals, I was talking about this idea of consequential-based learning, consequential-based parenting, and I'll use the same example that I used yesterday that I'm going to use now. Sorry, started thinking about something completely different there. Just like my video yesterday was so long, I really want to just try and like be as quick and as succinct as I possibly can when talking about this subject, but I also don't want to leave anything out. It's making my brain go a little bit like, Anyway, so consequential-based learning is as simple as this. It's saying to your child, we're about to go out, it's cold outside. Maybe you might want to think about putting on a jacket or a coat, and your child's saying, I'm not wearing a jacket, I don't want to, you can't make me, you're not the boss of me, I do what I want. And you go in, all right, cool. I'm not going to argue with you about how cold it is. I'm not going to tell you about my level of experience outside in the cold. I'm not getting into it. If you think that's the best, the best choice for you, then do it. Right. And then when you go outside and inevitably it's freezing and your child is freezing, you don't use that as a teaching moment, as a way of saying, see, I told you so, as a way of like, I don't know, lording it over them or whatever and showing, see, I know more than you and you don't know nothing. Like, you just lead them to it. Like, yeah, I know it's cold. I'm really sorry that you don't have your coat. Like, come on, give you a cuddle, but no, you can't have my coat. No, you can't have my scarf. No, you can't have my things that I'm wearing to keep me warm. Like, and I do feel for you that it's cold at the moment and that you made a bad decision, but that's the decision that you made, with love. Oh, well. And then, the next time that you say to them, I think it might be a little bit cold outside today. I think maybe you might need a coat. They say, oh, yeah, I remember the last time I refused to wear a coat and I froze. So I think maybe this time I'll put my coat on, right? And it's just basically learning from the consequences of our choices, right? I think that there's lots of different types of parenting. But for me personally, I feel like this is the best way. And I know that a lot of that is to do with being influenced by my own childhood, where I had very intrusive, very controlling parents who were like, you be this person or you're dead to us. And that is literally what it was like growing up with my parents. So I know this kind of like what can appear to be laissez-faire, just figure it out, man. Just do your thing. Like, I know that it's in direct response to what I experienced, but it's not in direct opposition. So I haven't decided to be this kind of parent just because I'm never going to be anything like my parents. I'm a lot like my parents in a lot of ways. But it's been more of a thought out choice of like, well, what do I think is the best way to grow someone? And I think the best way that we all grow as people is through experience and experiencing the consequences of our decisions. So we make good decisions, we get good consequences. You know what? Maybe we'll do that again. We make bad decisions, we get bad consequences. Maybe I might not do that again, right? Really as simple as that. So yeah, there are lots of different types of parenting. And honestly, even though I'm an expert in child development, I honestly could not tell you what any of those other types of parenting are called. I mean, they've got all funny names now, haven't they? But what I do know is I'm definitely not one of those helicopter parents, like helicopter parenting, just like buzzing around your child at all times. Oh my God, I couldn't think of anything worse as the parent or as the child, right? Anyway, so I feel like consequential-based parenting is unlike other forms of parenting in a lot of different ways, right? I think number one, it creates accountability. Somebody makes a choice and they live by that choice, and then they feel the consequences of that choice. They're then accountable, right, for the things that happen. So it creates accountability. It allows people to understand that there is cause and effect. If I do A, B will happen. Do I want to do A or not, right? It allows for logic and executive functioning. So it allows you to be able to assess and analyze in real time, or if not, like in retrospect. And then hopefully as you grow older, as a forethought, like, should I do this or should I do that? What would be the outcome of any of these options, right? And then I think that allows to really develop somebody's decision-making skills and problem-solving skills, because that is what life is. Life is a series of problems that need to be solved in some way or another, right? And I think not only that, but it really offers a level of respect and trust to your children. It offers a level of respect and trust to yourself that, like, no, I do know what I'm doing, but more than that, I believe that you know what's best for you. I believe deep down, and you should believe that you know what's best for you, right? And I think that ultimately that allows a child to know themselves, to trust themselves, to trust their intuition, to understand what they like and what they don't like, to see in reality what kind of person they are. Like, even if I know that this is going to hurt someone because I've done it before and that's been the consequences, am I the type of person who's going to do it again? Oh, I am. That's really important for me to know about myself. Do I want to be that type of person? What do I need to change? Do I even want to change? Like, it allows them to really, really, really know yourself. And through that, I feel like knowing yourself allows you to be your own safe base, like your own secure base. It allows you to then make decisions in the long term. It really grows your level of emotional resilience, and ultimately just creates a level of autonomy and agency and self-empowerment internally in somebody, right? I know that I can make decisions, and I know that I can make good and bad decisions, and I know that I have the capacity to understand that there are consequences to every decision that I make. And I know myself well enough to trust that I'm doing the right thing, or I know myself well enough to know that I'm gonna not make a good decision here, right? Either which way, it's self-empowering, right? However, I feel like this kind of parenting only works if you truly know as a parent what are your values and what are your triggers, right? And I feel like in order to know that, you have to know yourself as a person. You have to know yourself, and you have to be able to have a level of radical, heartfelt truth, radical, heartfelt honesty about who you are, what you're doing, why you're behaving the way that you are, why you want the things that you want, particularly for your own children, why you're reacting the way that you are, all of these sorts of things. You need to really be truly honest with yourself, and you need to know yourself. What are my values? What are my triggers, right? Because if you don't know those things, then this kind of parenting, it can just be a bit of a free-for-all, right? It can just be a bit of a like, do what you like, man. I trust you to make really good decisions. Oh, you're a crackhead now and you live under a bridge. Well, I trust that's the best for you. But even then, like, if that's what you feel is best, then do that. Because it's not our lives to live. That's the whole point. It's not our lives to live. And who knows that maybe my son needs to be a crackhead for 20 years to then get off it, to then influence someone else, or maybe he needs to die to be a martyr and save millions of people's lives. Who knows, right? But it's just not my choice to make. But I guess growing up there needs to be some parameters, right? And I think that the parameters are created by us as parents to kind of incubate our children through this process of them testing things out and learning and understanding themselves and making mistakes and all the rest of it, and dealing with the consequences of the choices that they make. And we incubate them and we create the parameters by knowing, okay, what is me and what is you? Like, what is me and what is you? What are my triggers and what's just your learning? Like, what are my values? What is important in this moment in time to teach you, to learn you, rather than just do as you're told, or everybody else says that this isn't okay, I think it's really important to know your values and your triggers. Otherwise, you can't really be a safe space for them. You can't empower somebody if you don't know that you're being directly influenced in the things that you're teaching them, in the things that you responded to, by your own shit, by your own unresolved trauma, right? And if not, if you don't know truly what these things are in you, and they remain like an unconscious bias, then really all you're doing is you're just trying to influence the process in the way that you think is best. This is what worked for me. This is what didn't work for me. This is what I didn't like as a child. This is what I wished my mum had done. This is what I had too much of. Like, you're just trying to influence them in that process. And yes, of course, we're influencing our children at all times. Like, I still have an influence over my kids, but I also don't have any attachment to, yeah, but I'm not going to do it that way. Like, I hear what you're saying, and it's been a really interesting conversation, Mum, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to still make these mistakes. All right, cool, go and do it, right? I think unless you know what your values and triggers are, then you're not really empowering someone else to make their own choices. Like, you're just living vicariously through them, right? And I think without knowing what your values and triggers are, it's really difficult to know when to step in and to what extent. So at what point do I need to just say, yeah, no, actually, you can't do that? Like, how do I say that? Is that more about me? Is that about them? Am I trying to safeguard them? Like, I don't know, like, so I think when you don't know that, then it's really difficult to engage in consequential-based learning. However, what I would say is that the question that I would say to ask as a parent, if you want to try and let your child find their own way and figure things out for themselves, is whenever you are getting involved, whenever you are giving advice, whenever you are placing boundaries, you need to think about, to what extent is this upholding or teaching or guiding the things that I fundamentally think are important? Like, what are the 3 or 4 things that I think are fundamentally important in being a human being? And to what extent is this upholding those things or teaching those things or guiding my child in that way? And the thing is if you don't know what your fundamental values are, if you haven't worked that out, then that's a whole nother video for another day. But This is one of the things I'm really passionate about. I created an entire program to help people to figure this out so that they're not influencing not just their own children, but all of the interpersonal relationships that we have. So we're not bringing all of our own crap and all of our own history and all of our own unmet needs into the relationships that we hold with other people. But okay, that's all I'm going to say for now. Come back on Thursday for Chrysalis Tools. We're going to do a practice. I genuinely don't know what it's going to be at this point, but I will figure something out. And I hope to see you there, because whatever we do, it'll be good, right? It's just nice to sit still for a little while. All right, cool. That's it.
If this resonated, watch yesterday's Crisis Confessionals for the real life example behind this framework, and come back Thursday for Chrysalis Tools. We'll slow it down and put this into practice. Subscribe, comment, and I'll see you there.